What's up, Good Shepherd? It's good to have you here today. My name is Matt Fulmer, and if I've not gotten the chance to meet you, it's great to have you here. I'm the lead pastor. So when it comes to marriage, these really important relationships in our lives, what's the one word that we most associate with marriage? Love, of course, right? We think about love. And so earlier this week in getting ready, I asked my two kids, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, what they love, like to help me kind of understand what this word means. And of course they rattled off, people that they love, me and their mom. They rattled off grandparents, friends that they play with, they love. And then my son, a 7-year-old, he said, well, I love my video games, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, you love your video games. And also, I love Star Wars. Okay, yeah, man, I know you love Star Wars. And then my 4-year-old daughter said, I love waffles. And so in that little conversation, it just struck me that love is this big word we use in really small ways. And it's this small word that we use in really big ways. I mean, think about all the ways that we use the word love. I mean, on the one hand, it's this epic word. I mean, we place a tremendous amount of weight and pressure even on the first time that we say we love someone in a romantic relationship. I mean, that's a big deal. It means something. But at the same time, we use it to describe things like our feelings around ice cream, movies that we love, a song that we love. I mean, I love my wife, but I also really love juicy cheeseburgers. And my wife really loves Captain Crunch, and she also loves me. And I'm hopeful and I believe that there's a difference between cheeseburger Captain Crunch love and our love for one another in our marriage. But we're asking a whole lot from this little big word. And so this idea of love and how we use this word, man, it made me wonder, I mean, if love covers so many different things, then what is love? I mean, if we're trying to decide and profess our love to someone that we are married to, for instance, in this series, I mean, how do we define love? Maybe you've ever wondered, what is love? What's a good definition of it? And where do we get our definition of love from? Who influences how we understand love and how we define love? Well, one of my first definitions of love actually comes from a surprising place. It comes from Big Bird. If you know Big Bird, Sesame Street, that Big Bird. I mean, I grew up in the Sesame Street generation, and Big Bird had this song where Big Bird was defining what love is. And instead of me singing it, I wanted you to hear it, so check it out.
I'm playing my bells. I've been practicing. Pretty good, huh? When you want to hug somebody because they make you feel good. When you fall down and somebody helps you up and makes you feel good. When you really mean I'm sorry. If you hurt somebody's feelings, then you know that love's a feeling that's a really good feeling to have. Love is what you feel when you feel you want to sing. Love is what you feel about your most favorite thing. Love is the feeling everybody likes to feel. Yes, love is a really good feeling to have.
Right? There you go. Sermon's done. Big Bird is spoken. But love, it's a really good feeling to have. Love is a really good feeling to have. Love is a really good feeling to have. Now, I think Big Bird is great. And I think we could learn a lot from Sesame Street and Big Bird. And I think Big Bird is onto something. Love can be a feeling. I have feelings around love, and it's a really good feeling to have. And if you listen to popular music or movies or stories, that's kind of our cultural definition of love. It's a feeling, it's butterflies. Love makes you feel good. But all these feelings around love, man, I wonder also, is that all love is? Is love a feeling? Or is there more to love than a feeling? For instance, when it comes to marriage, what if we don't feel love anymore towards the person we're committed to? What if we feel like we fell out of love? Or if those butterflies have just kind of flown away? Does that mean we don't love them anymore simply because those feelings are gone? Is love a feeling or is love more than a feeling? What is love? Well, as you can imagine, the Bible has a lot to say about what love is. Has a lot of wisdom that can help guide us in our most intimate relationships like marriage and our understanding of love. And one of the most famous scriptures on love is from a letter that this guy named Apostle Paul wrote. And Paul is lived in the first century, and he started a bunch of little churches around the Mediterranean. And in this scripture that we're about to read, he's writing to a church in a place called Corinth. And he's trying to grasp or explain this big idea of love. And he's even trying to define it. This is what Paul says about love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It isn't jealous. It doesn't brag. It isn't arrogant. It isn't rude. It doesn't seek its own advantage. It isn't irritable. It doesn't keep a record of complaints. It isn't happy with injustice, but it is happy with the truth. Love puts up with all things, trusts in all things, hopes for all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Now, you've probably heard this before. Probably at a wedding, ironically, right? Maybe you had it in your wedding. It's one of the most popular wedding scriptures. It's a classic definition of love. So let's look at it just a little bit closer. I want to list it out. Paul defines love. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and Paul says sort of a list of what love is and what love isn't. So let's just look at it. Love is like it's patient, it's kind, happy with the truth, or tolerant, trusting, hopeful, enduring, and fail-proof. It doesn't fail. Then on the other side, what it's not. Well, it's not jealous. It's not boastful. It's not arrogant. It's not rude. It's not self-serving. It's not irritable. It's not scorekeeping. And it's happy with injustice, or not happy with injustice. So when you look at these lists, what struck me about this list is it's not really a list of feelings. Sure, there is happy, right? Happy, sure, happy with the truth, not happy with injustice. And those are sort of feelings. But really what this is it's a list of actions. I mean, look at it. Patient and action. Kind, action. Trusting, it doesn't say how you feel about it. It just says trusting. Don't be rude, action. Arrogant, keep score. I mean, all these are actions. As you go down the list, instead of being feelings, Paul seems to be saying, no, y'all. Love is an action. It's an action. It's not just a feeling. That's true. You and I know this. Like, love produces feelings. It makes us feel things, but feelings are merely a byproduct of the action of love. And friends, this is where the rubber really meets the road when it comes to us in marriages or these committed relationships. I mean, if you're thinking about getting married, or if you're engaged or newly married, man, you have all these feelings of love. And those feelings mark your love. The future's bright, or you'll say, like, I've never been happier. The Big Bird feeling meter is running high. And that's great. But it won't always be running high. And I don't want to be a downer, but if we believe love is all about feelings, then we're selling love short. And we just won't experience the full extent of love. I mean, feelings, y'all, they come and go. We know this. They change. Life happens, and we change and grow. Feelings will be different. There are going to be times that our feelings are completely different. That means that we cannot build something that lasts on mere feelings. But actions, on the other hand, actions build something different. Actions can build patterns. And so if you're engaged or early in a marriage or a relationship, now's the time to start building patterns with actions, not just with feelings. Because the time will come when you don't feel the emotions of love as much as you did or do now. Those butterflies will fly away. So build your relationship on the actions of love, not those feelings of love. Or maybe there are a lot of us, we've been married for a little while, at least long enough to establish some habits and some patterns. I mean, maybe you've weathered some storms together, navigated some change, maybe even fallen into a rut or two. Maybe you have some good patterns, but maybe you also have some bad ones. For some of us, somewhere in this routine of marriage, we've just developed the actions or the habits of irritation, which have turned into bitterness, which maybe over time became anger, which then just cooled into apathy. And we've established patterns that just don't mean much because our feelings aren't there. So we cohabitate, but we're not really sure we love the person we're committed to. So then what do you do when you don't feel those feelings anymore? What do you do when you feel like maybe you've fallen out of love? What can you do? Well, the answer is if you don't feel like you love the person you're committed to, the good news is you can still act like you love them. Because love is an action, and feelings, they can follow actions. I found this really interesting C.S. Lewis quote that struck me in this. It's from this old author. He writes in Mere Christianity, a popular book. He says this. He says, "Do not waste time bothering whether you love," I would say feel, love, for your neighbor. Here I would say partner, spouse. Do not waste time bothering whether you feel those love feelings towards your neighbor. Act as if you did. See, as soon as you do this, as soon as we do this, we find one of the greatest secrets. When you're behaving as if you love someone, you will presently come to love them. See, when you behave as if you love someone, the greatest secret is you start loving them. Lewis is pointing out the fact that love is an action, not a feeling, that somehow, even when we don't feel those feelings of love, that somehow those actions of love can produce the feelings of love. That's different. And may be helpful to a lot of us. Because some of us, I think we're just in a rut in our relationship. And maybe in our quietest, most intimate moments, we wonder, do we still love the one that we're committed to? Because we just don't feel the feelings of love any longer. Instead, our feelings towards our partner are more, maybe we do feel, but we feel certain ways like irritation or annoyance or boredom or, again, apathy. And because we don't feel those feelings of love, maybe we believe that we just don't love them anymore. And because we don't have those gooey feelings, we've stopped those actions. That's because we have this belief that our actions follow out of our feelings. We only do something if we feel like it. But what Lewis is getting at, and I think what Paul is getting at, is that feelings aren't the foundation of love. Actions are. And actions can produce feelings. So if you're in a place and you want to repair a relationship, or if you want to build your relationship on something that won't change, then act. Act out of love. And by acting out of love, then feelings will follow. With love, feelings can come after actions. This means that we don't feel our way back into love or even feel our way sometimes into love, but instead we act. And it means we can't repair a marriage by chasing feelings we once had. We can't simply wait on our feelings and then decide to act. Instead, if we want to repair a relationship, if we want to go into deeper levels of love, then we act whether we feel it or not. Because love is action. And so we act our way into that. So then I wonder, wherever you are in your relationship, no matter if you're married for a long time or if you're engaged or somewhere in between, I wonder how you're acting out your love for the person that you're committed to. Like, what have you done? Maybe in the last 24 hours, put some boundaries on it. What have you done in the last 24 hours to put your love into action? Or are you simply waiting for your feelings to come along before you act? And then what are those actions that you're deciding to take to build, block by block, effort by effort, to build the love in your relationship? And as you're thinking about that, maybe considering how you put love into action, I want to give you a tool. Maybe some ideas to start acting, and you can put those things into play. But first, I just want to tell you a story. Take a little breath. So some of you know, a few months ago, my wife, Ricky, and I, we took this trip to Costa Rica. And again, like I've said, I can't say enough about the people in Costa Rica, especially they were really accommodating to a guy who knows very little Spanish. And they spoke Spanish in Costa Rica. But throughout the trip, I tried so hard, made so much effort to speak Spanish to people, and it really embarrassed my wife a number of times. I would roll in somewhere hot, she would say, like roll in, speak in Spanish, the little bit that I know. I'd go like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, like just playing it up. And then, of course, the other person would assume I spoke Spanish, and then so they'd just start rattling Spanish off to me, and then I was backing up. As soon as they opened their mouth, I was like, I'm lost, I don't understand, I'm really sorry, I just speak English, habla inglés, right? And Ricky was like, you've got to stop doing this, man. You've got to. It's embarrassing you don't know Spanish. And on the other hand, she'd walk in and say, no español, I do not speak Spanish, habla inglés, right? Well, this happened in a small restaurant. It's a tiny town. I started, with the very few Spanish words I know, and I quickly hit a dead end with our waiter. She didn't know any English. And it was just disappointing because I so badly wanted to speak her language. Maybe more selfishly, I so badly wanted to know what I was ordering off the menu because I had just no clue, right? It was this frustrating experience, but we muddled through. But if you've traveled to another country and you don't know the language, this is a big deal. If you don't know the language, you can survive, you can manage, but it can feel uneasy, uncomfortable, uncertain, maybe even a little disjointed. You're not sure if the taxi driver is actually taking you to the place you need to go. You're not confident that you're going to get the food you ordered. If you get lost, you are dependent on the goodwill of the people around you. But on the other hand, if you know the language, then people are friendlier. They're more engaged. Speaking another person's language, it opens doors. Speaking another person's language, it breaks down walls, it builds trust. Speaking another language, it opens up new opportunities. And the same holds true with the people we love. See, some of us today, man, we are bought into this feeling or this idea that love is not just a feeling, that love is an action. You believe that feelings of love, they can follow actions, and so you're ready to act. Like, just tell me what to do, and you're committed to acting out love and doing all the stuff that you can show your partner that you love them, not just feeling, but with actions. But while you're doing all this stuff, maybe you don't realize that you're speaking different languages. It's like our actions, as much as we try, we're speaking in English and they only speak Spanish. And what happens is these actions that we're trying to take don't translate into the language our partner speaks. And so if love is an action, we need to make sure our actions are in the language our partner speaks. All right, so you may be familiar with the book, right? 5 languages, or 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. It's been around for a long time. The premise is that there are these 5 fundamental ways which we give and receive love, ways that we act out love. And Chapman identifies 5, right? There's words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, giving and receiving gifts, physical touch, and quality time. Now, these essentially are self-explanatory. You can dive into them deeper, but you can kind of get it. And all of us experience all 5 of them, of course. But we usually lean into 1 or 2 over the rest of them. So if you identify what your love language is and then what your partner's love language is, the idea is that you can learn to speak each other's languages, act in ways that build your relationship. The actions you do will then be understood and received by your partner because you're speaking their language. But if you don't bother to learn the language, even if you're acting your love out, it can feel like you're not quite sure what's going on. And love is being mistranslated in some way, even though love is an action. Let me give you an example of my own life. See, one of my top love languages is words of affirmation. Man, I really appreciate when my wife says nice things about me. But words of affirmation is one of my wife's lowest gifts, right? See, one of Ricky's, on the other hand, top gifts is gifts. And she's always picking up these little things and giving really thoughtful gifts to me and to others. But gifts are, again, one of my lowest. I don't speak that language very well. So I'm usually showering my wife with all these great compliments and things that I think about her. Though she's like saying, yeah, actions, I don't care what you say. Show me you love me. Give me a gift. And while Ricky is giving me all these really thoughtful gifts, they don't really translate into me experiencing love from her. They're just cool things that I got. So while it doesn't feel like love to me, remember love is an action, not just a feeling. So even though I don't have these warm feelings when I give her a gift, man, I try to buy her some gifts every once in a while because I know that's her language of love. It's an action that translates to a language she can receive. And y'all get this wrong a lot. I have to put it on my calendar sometimes. But it's something I'm working on, right? I want to love with my actions in a way that Ricky, my wife, can speak and receive. Not just the language I want to speak. Because when we speak one another's languages, it breaks down walls, it builds trust, and it provides these opportunities for deeper connections. Y'all, and this stuff, man, it applies no matter what season of life that we're in. Whether we're single, whether we're engaged, whether we're married, this is fundamental to all of our relationships. It's important to know what language we are speaking and what language someone else is speaking. You know, as I was getting ready for today, I went to this website, the 5 Love Languages website, and I was surprised to learn that there are all kinds of assessments. I mean, you know, there's the assessment, of course, about your love language, and it takes 10 minutes, but there are also these assessments of apology language, how you feel appreciated at work, even how you handle anger. And there are resources for families, friends, even the workplace. Helpful tools for all of us, no matter what we are in our committed relationships, across the board. Because love, it's all about knowing someone else's language, the language they speak and the language you speak. And so those actions that we want to take are actually translated in a way that can be received. And so this morning, you know, if you're in a committed relationship, I just hope you take the assessment. And then share with your partner what the results are. Or if you think you know what your love language is, simply talk about it with your partner. Share what actions of love translate for you and ask what language they speak and what actions you can take to help them experience love. But talk about it. Because love is an action. And if you're going to put it into action, you want to act the way that they can understand. And so that's the challenge this week. If you're married, the challenge is simply talk with your partner. If you aren't married, a challenge is to find a meaningful relationship and connect over actions and love languages, but do something. Because love is an action. So this week, act. Don't just feel love. Don't wait on your emotions to lead you. And if you're married or have a partner, man, do something that expresses love to your partner. And if you're not married, do something that expresses love to someone close to you. But before you act, make sure you're speaking their language. Talk with your partner about what their love language is. Figure out which language you're speaking, then determine if you need to speak another language to communicate, and then put that language into action. And don't just talk about it. Do something. Love is something you do. So this week, remember that love is not simply a feeling. I really like Big Bird, wise old sage. But love is more than a feeling. Love is an action. So act out of love. And remember that there are different languages of love. So speak their language. Let's pray. God, as we come here and we think about these relationships that we value, that are important, relationships that with our partner that sometimes feel like we are speaking a different language, there are those of us here, God, that maybe we've given up. Maybe we've just said, I'm going to be married, but I'm not going to get anything out of my partner, and I've just kind of given up. There are others of us that maintain hope and want more but don't really know what to do. And And there are others of us that maybe are just in cruise control. God, my prayer for all of us is that we remember that love is so much more than a feeling. Love is best demonstrated in your love for us, that you gave yourself up for us so that we may have life. Because love is an action, and feelings follow. So God, my prayer for us is that you would revive our relationships, revive our friendships, revive our marriages, revive our relationships with our kids, and help us, God, remember that feelings can follow actions. And so God, help us to act. Help us to follow your lead even when we don't feel like it. And God, may your Spirit fall on us. Give us courage, give us wisdom to know how to act, to know when to act, and what language to act in. It's in Jesus' holy name that we pray these things. Amen.